Now, this video is about the relations between Haiti and the United States going forward. The US went through an election just this week and decided to choose Donald Trump as the president for the next 4 years. Now, this Donald Trump second administration is coming just after the Biden administration. Now, if you remember very well, it is the Biden administration that sanctioned the MSS mission to Haiti. Now, the relations between Haiti and the United States are going to change because Donald Trump will have different policies that will relate Haiti to the United States. This Kenyan-led mission is at the center of the relations between Haiti and the United States. Now, before we get there, I have to take you back to understand the history between the US and Haiti. Haiti and the US go far back. These are the first two countries to have independence in the Americas. In fact, the US got its independence in 1776, then followed by Haiti that got its independence in 1804. The next country that got its independence in the Americas is Paraguay, and that is in 1811. So these two countries, Haiti and the United States, started their political relations very, very early. Even the time when the US was refusing to acknowledge Haiti, the Black Americans or the African Americans in the US got the inspiration from the slave revolt in Haiti, because Haiti was the first ever country to have a successful slave revolt against their colonizers, and it is the first black country to exist in recent history. So there was a lot of inspiration to the African Americans in the US, and they can allude their freedom to vote, their freedom to be counted as human beings to the struggle that was put up by Haiti. Now, these relations have gone for quite some time, but I want to take you to the recent history, to what happened in 2016. This is the time when Donald Trump was first vying against Hillary Clinton for the presidency. And we saw Donald Trump coining the term Haiti again in his campaign, just as he coined the term Haiti in these campaigns that I'm going to talk about. So in 2016, the term Haiti was in discussion in the United States in the campaign, where Donald Trump accused Hillary Clinton of what they did with the Clinton Foundation during the 2010 earthquake that happened in Haiti. They said that there was mishandling of funds, there was misappropriation of funds, that the Clinton Foundation took advantage of the situation in Haiti and embezzled the funds that were collected to help the people in Haiti. In fact, that earthquake led to the loss of lives of about 230,000 people in Haiti. It is among the worst devastations that have ever happened in recent history, caused by a natural calamity. Now, Trump accused Hillary Clinton of embezzling the funds that were supposed to be used to help the Haitians at that time, and that sort of led to his win, because there was a lot of investigation. There was a lot of emails that were popping up between the Secretary of State's office and the Clinton Foundation, and that brought the charter that made Hillary Clinton not to look fit for office. It was one of the contributors for Hillary Clinton not to win the US elections at that time, and President Trump was elected into office in 2016. Now, fast forward this to 2024, and Donald Trump is again vying against Kamala Harris, and the term Haiti came again in the campaigns, where Donald Trump accused Haitians living in Springfield for eating pets and dogs of the Americans living there, and say that there is a reason for the American people to kick out illegal immigrants who he calls criminals. So there was some kind of allusion that people who are in Springfield, most of them are Haitians, and they are eating the pets of the people living there. So that led to a lot of condemnation from different quarters of the rhetoric that Trump gave to Haiti. And that in some way shows how Trump is going to look at this whole issue of Haiti and the fact that there are gangs in Haiti that are terrorizing the people there, and there is a need to have a mission in Haiti. Well, what we'll see from this Trump administration is that there will be a shift in policy. Well, naturally, because this is a different political party. These are Republicans, and the Biden administration were Democrats. If you assess how these two political parties work, you will realize that there will be a major shift in how the US is going to approach the Haitian crisis, and if at all, they're going to support the MSS mission. And this is the reason why. Well, Donald J. Trump has the America First policy that he holds very dear and say that he is going to implement it the same way he implemented that America First policy in his first administration. Well, Donald Trump will sort of look inwards into his own country as opposed to try and meddle in the affairs of different countries, even if those affairs in one way or another affect his own country. Well, the whole mission under the Trump regime is at a risk because the mission does not have direct benefits to the United States. It doesn't have military benefits, nor does it have economic benefits to the United States. The Biden administration set this mission so that it can discourage people from moving from Haiti to the United States through illegal immigration. Now, this mission right now doesn't have that direct benefit to the United States because it will be argued that even countries that do not have this kind of a situation in Latin America are still having their people moving across the continent all the way to the border with the United States. Trump would rather put up a wall in the Mexican border than to facilitate a mission outside the US, a mission that is in another country led by another country. So this is the same approach that you'll find Trump using with NATO, when he said that he's not going to support NATO if other countries are not contributing enough. Trump is a deals person. He likes to make deals. He likes to argue with things that have direct economic or military benefits to the United States. And that can also be seen by the approach that Trump gives China. He says that if we don't have a balance of trade, if the US is on the back foot in whatever trade agreement, then there is no point of the US having trade relations with China. And that is the reason as to why the US and China had serious trade wars in the first Trump administration. So that kind of a mentality will also affect the mission in Haiti because Trump will see it as not so much beneficial and not a mission that the US taxpayer should use their money for. And that means that there will be repercussions because right now, as we understand, the US and Canada are supposed to give financial support to the MSS mission. They are supposed to give equipment support. Just the other day, they delivered quite an amount of support in terms of vehicles. These are APCs and ammo to the MSS mission in Haiti. The MSS mission has not even fully deployed yet. And we are seeing challenges that are looming, that are coming because there is no enough support in terms of supplies. The reason as to why many countries have not deployed yet is because of the lack of financial support and the lack of supplies. And this is supposed to be held by the United States. The huge bulk is supposed to be held by the United States. The second country that is supposed to commit financially and in terms of supplies is Canada. And Canada and the US have not been fully committing to giving this financial and technical support to the boots on the ground led by Kenya. So that is going to lead to a lot of uncertainty because, as President Ruto said just the other day in a press conference with the Haitian Prime Minister, he said that the budget that the MSS has right now only runs to sometime in March next year, that there is no enough funding to continue the mission past April. So these are the problems that will face the mission, as right now the US will have a different president and he will try to factor out a lot of things. And one of the major things that Donald Trump will factor in are the gains that the US is making. If there is no direct gain that the US is making from this mission, then there will be some change in policy. And one of the changes in policy that the Trump administration will try to introduce will be a reduction in the financial support that they will give to this mission. In fact, the Trump administration is likely to ask Kenya and other countries to also take part in contributing to the mission. That is the same tactic that he's using with NATO, that if you have a country in the EU, if you have a country that is a part of NATO that is not contributing, then the US will not contribute as much. So this is the same approach that can be used with the mission in Haiti, that Trump will say Kenya needs to contribute more. Trump will say that Jamaica needs to contribute more, that Belize needs to contribute more, that even Haiti itself needs to show something that it is doing so that they can contribute to this mission in Haiti. And that approach will easily fail because these countries do not have the capacity to sustain that mission. I think that is why they wanted it to be a UN mission, because they knew if the Trump administration will come into power, then there will be some questions about whether this mission will even go to 1 year. It's supposed to last 1 year. We know that this mission should last more than 1 year, but it was scheduled to last 1 year till next year, October. The budget doesn't even get to April. There is a lot of slowdown in terms of delivery of equipment, and we are going into a different administration that might not even think about giving any financial support to this mission. So there are a lot of obstacles, and there will be policy changes, and these policy changes are going to affect the mission. And if they affect the mission, the people who will suffer the most will be the Haitian nationals, who will lack that support, and they will have to find alternative means to sustain themselves. They will have to find alternative means to either change this into a UN mission before even it lasts 1 year, or cease the MSS mission completely, and the Kenyan troops will have to come back home to Kenya. That will mean that the Haitian National Police will have to battle the gangs on their own.